What's up, friends? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today's video is going to be all of the products that I am getting rid of. If you follow me on Instagram, which you definitely should, I will link my handle here and down below. You guys would have known that I recently did a big declutter and reorganization of my makeup collection. There was a label maker involved, and I like to do this probably like 2 or 3 times a year just to really clean out my makeup collection. And I only have so much space in my apartment, guys, so I have to be really honest with myself about what stays and what goes. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing some of the products that I'm getting rid of, and then I'm also going to be explaining not only why am I getting rid of those products, but what are some of the other products that I have in my collection that sort of are replacing or dethroning those products, so to speak. So if you guys are interested in seeing all of the products that I am decluttering, then keep watching. And if you are new here, welcome. My name is Sophia, and this is my channel where we talk about all things beauty and luxury. We have so much fun on this channel. I'm always talking about all of the newest luxury beauty releases, and then I do fun little videos like this, favorites, you name it. So if you want to have some fun with us over here, definitely hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to hear about every time I post a new video. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, guys, and without further ado, let's talk about some of the products that I will be decluttering. Okay, party people, I've got you up close. We're gonna do this in kind of like a chit-chatty, show and tell kind of style. If you're wondering what is on my face today, I am wearing the Byredo Flora Kalahari palette on my eyes. I've got just like the corals and pink tones, and then I have one of those new blushes from the Suku pre-summer collection, the one that's like pink and orangey, and then I just popped this tarteMaracuja Juicy Lip Plump in the color Honeysuckle on my lips. So just let you guys know what's on my face. Hey guys, after I filmed this video, I forgot to mention that I don't always throw out all of these products. I do most of the time give them away. I usually take them, I sanitize them, I clean them up, I get them in good condition, as long as they're not expired or gross or anything like that. Because again, a lot of these products, unfortunately, embarrassingly so, I only used once, twice, a couple of times. And then I usually kind of make little packages and give them away to like my cousin, my sister, my mom, my girlfriends, basically whoever wants them. I say, hey, listen, this is up for grabs. And my family loves the makeup. They love using it. Pretty much all of my sister's makeup is like just stuff that I've given her. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Like usually I'm kind of just recycling this, throwing it out if it's expired, but I do try and find a good home for my makeup. If you guys have any tips for like where I can donate makeup, things that I'm not using, or if you have any tips for like what you guys do, definitely comment down below. I would love to hear. Let's get into the first products. I know some people are gonna be a little bit upset about this, but I am going to be decluttering all of my Fenty cream products. Right here, I have the Fenty Beauty Cheeks Out Freestyle Cream Bronzer in the color Butter Biscuit. And then I have 3 of the cream blushes in the color Fuego Flush, Daiquiri Dip, and then this one is called Drama Class, which is a bright purple. And the thing is, guys, these aren't bad products. They're just not my favorite cream products. I really like the colors of all the blushes. I like the shade range. And clearly I bought 3. Like I was drinking that Kool-Aid when these first came out. And I like this shade Butter Biscuit. I think this is a really good tone for me. But I think what I've realized overall is that as I've used these products more, they just don't work that well on my skin. I think that these have a lot of coconut oil in them. And so they're not necessarily the type of finish that I prefer when it comes to a cream product. I also feel like these blushes, they don't really last that long. They're very emollient and glossy, and I just feel like I have cream bronzers and cream blushes in my collection that last longer, they apply a little bit smoother, they don't disturb my foundation when I apply them, and they're overall just a little bit better quality. So like these aren't bad products, they just aren't my favorite. And so what am I going to be replacing them with? First off, I have these right here. These are the Janessa Myricks Dewy Cheek and Lip Palettes. I did a full review for you guys of these on my channel, and these are great. The reason why I like these better is because these are just so much more pigmented. They have a really nice dewy finish, but they stick really well to the skin. They're a lot more long lasting. I feel like with the Fenty blushes, I'm applying them and they're just kind of, I just feel like they're blending out into nothing. They don't last that long. So I said, you know what? I already have both of these palettes. I don't need all of these Fenty cream products. I've also really been enjoying this. This is the Chantikai Gel Bronzer. Also have a review of this up on my channel. you can see that I really like these because I'm reviewing them for you guys. I'm keeping them in my collection. I use them a lot. I share these in my favorites videos. So the Chantikai cream bronzer, this has just been a much better formula and a better texture for me. I like the shade of the Fenty one, but I think this formula is just, it's a lot smoother, more luxurious, more easy to apply, and it lasts a lot longer. I actually have 2 more bronzers that I'm getting rid of. I'm really trying to clear out the ones that I don't really reach for because I've been getting a lot of new ones that I really enjoy. The next one that I'm gonna show you guys here that I'm decluttering is this one from Patrick Ta, and this is the Cream Contour and Powder Bronzing Duo in the shade She's Statuesque. And, you know, sorry guys, but I didn't clean these off yet. If I end up giving these to anybody, I always meticulously disinfect and clean them, even if I'm passing it along to my sister, but I didn't have time to clean them all for this video. And there's a very good reason why I'm decluttering this one, and that's because this shade just didn't really work out for me very well. It's a little bit too light for my skin tone, and I do have other bronzers that are sort of light and natural, but for some reason, this one, it's just a little bit too light. Like, it's not my favorite when it comes to a light bronzer. It's a very nice tone, and I'll swatch the sort of contour cream shade for you. I feel like this contour shade is just a little bit too light. It's nice and cool toned, but it just doesn't add enough chisel to my cheeks. And one of the reasons also I'm getting rid of this bronzer is because I realized it was too light for me and I got the darker shade. So I already have the shade that works for me. So why am I keeping around the one that doesn't work for me? I do like the product, but I don't like it enough that I'm gonna keep it around when I already have the shade that works. This is the shade She's Sculpted, and I think there's 3 shades in the line, and this is the medium toned one, whereas She's Statuesque is the lighter toned one. And like, in addition to already having that darker shade in my collection, I also just have lighter, softer bronzers that I prefer better. This is the one from Wayne Goss I want to show you guys, and this is in the shade Light Gold. And I prefer this one because it's just, let me show you guys. I don't know if you can appreciate that, but you see the beautiful sheen and radiance that this one gives, whereas this one from Patrick Ta is just a little bit more matte. In addition, the sculpting powder that's in here, it's a little bit more unique. And I don't know if it's because it's just a powder, but it adds a little something different, whereas this one, it's just too close to my skin tone. So that's why I decided to get rid of that one. Already have this one that works perfectly fine. And then as far as light and natural bronzers go, like, I already have better options in my collection. In a similar vein, I also here have the bronzer from Kosas. I really like Kosas as a brand. I have a lot of their products. I enjoy their makeup. But this bronzer, I feel like I liked it when it first came out, but lately I've realized that it's really just not as good as like my Hourglass bronzers or the one from Wayne Goss. I'll kind of swatch it for you here. See how light that is? It's really hard to pick up. I almost feel, you can kind of see the nice shimmer it gives. I almost feel like it kind of dried out. And I really liked the concept of this because it's more of a light, soft, glowy bronzer, similar to the Wayne Goss or the ones from Hourglass. But I just have such a hard time picking it up. And you can kind of see here, it almost looks like it's a little bit hard panned. I don't know, what's the experience that you guys have had with this bronzer? I think I've just come to realize it doesn't give me enough bronze. It's not as pigmented, and I much prefer this one right here, which is the one from Wayne Goss. Next up, I have another product from Fenty Beauty, and it's one of their matchsticks in the color Amber. Now, I actually really like this product. This has been very well used. This is the tone. I use this as a contour shade. This is a lovely product, but I think that this is just a little bit old. For a while, I was using this every single day. It's very well loved. But what I've come to realize is that I actually really enjoy my Tom Ford Shade and Illuminate a lot more. And I've also recently replaced this with the Face Trace stick from Westman Atelier. I just got this in the Sephora sale, and I've been enjoying this a lot more because, I'll swatch it for you guys here. It is a little bit warmer. I think that this stick is a little bit more multi-purpose, whereas Amber does come across as just a little bit maybe a little bit too gray on my skin tone. I am very fair, but if you like something that's more of a cool tone, I think you're going to like amber. I feel like it's a bit of a polarizing product. Some people either love it or they're not really into that color. But the one from Westman Atelier, it's just a lot creamier and more blendable, whereas the one from Fenty, it's definitely a drier formula. If you're someone that's a little bit afraid of creams, that's where I feel like this can really work out for you. Or if you have oilier skin, I think that these from Fenty are really good. So I don't dislike it. It's just I looked into my collection and I already have contours, like my ride or die holy grail contours. I know that this one that I got from Westman is new, but this is gonna show up in a favorites video. I've really been enjoying this. I've basically been using it every single day since I got it. So unfortunately, it's time for me to say goodbye to Amber from Fenty Beauty, but I feel like this is probably expired at this point and I just have better options in my collection now. Why did I buy these? Why did I buy these? These are the Colourpop Cheek Dew Serum Blushes, and I have 4 of these, and I probably have like only used these a handful of times. Like I'm really not getting my money's worth out of these Colourpop Cheek Dews. I've actually been decluttering a lot from Colourpop lately because there's just so much there that I bought that I don't use and I don't need. So I'm really paring it down to the products that I like from Colourpop, which overall tend to be their like 9-pan and is it 12 pan eyeshadow palettes. I really do like their eyeshadow palettes. I have a collection in my beauty vanity that I refuse to get rid of. I love the Limoncello palette. I love the Wild Nothing palette, the Sweet Talk palette. I love all of those palettes. I really like their eyeshadows, but a lot of like the Super Shock shadows, the singles, the Jelly Much, the blush sticks, all that kind of stuff, I feel like I just have better versions of that in my collection. I bought these because they were super affordable and I thought that these might be a really good affordable dupe to the ones from M Cosmetics. But the thing is, guys, I have 4 of the M Cosmetics ones. These are their serum blushes and these are very expensive. I would probably say these are pretty overpriced, but the packaging is gorgeous. The shades are gorgeous. These are really beautiful. I did a reel on my Instagram. Like this is one of the first reels I ever did where I was kind of comparing the two. And I do feel like the Colourpop is a good affordable dupe for these from M Cosmetics, but overall I feel like these are better. I would rather have like 1 or 2 from M Cosmetics than have all of the colors from Colourpop. At the end of the day, I just need to make space, and unfortunately with Colourpop, unless it's something that I really, really like, the Colourpop and the drugstore products are kind of the first ones to go because I've just invested so much in these other things that I just love either a little bit or a lot more. So goodbye Colourpop Cheek Dews. The next product that I have is from Janessa Myricks, and this is her Enlight Halo Powder, and this is in the shade Sun. Guys, I probably have only used this maybe 1 time, and Janessa is such a good salesperson. Oh my gosh, she sells you on those products, and when she puts those products on the model's face, I want them. And I remember I went out and bought a bunch of things from Janessa Myricks because I wanted to try out the brand, and this is one of the things that I saw her use on her Instagram on a demo that she had, and this just looked so beautiful on the model's face. But the thing is, guys, I rarely reach for loose powder products. I've kind of made a rule for myself, unless I really want to try it, I don't buy a lot of loose powder products. I don't buy loose powders in general, whether it be highlighters or setting powders. I don't buy single eyeshadows, and I don't buy backups. Those are some of the rules that I've made for myself, and I didn't listen to my rules here. This is just, it's very messy, it's very glittery. This is really beautiful. As you can see, even right now, I'm like, am I regretting this? But the thing is, I literally never reach for this, and when this does go on my cheeks, it's very glittery. It's just like a little bit too much. I feel like when Janessa uses it, it looks so stunning, but when I use it, it just looks kind of like a glitter bomb. Comment down below and let me know if you've tried these out and how you've gotten along with them. I just never really reach for it, so I feel like this will make somebody else happy. Given that I've barely ever used it, I can give it away. What I have been reaching for, which is a great alternative, are these new ones from Charlotte Tilbury. This is from her new Pillow Talk collection, and I have the color here, Romance Light. This is equally, I wouldn't say it's as glittery, but it gives you that beautiful pop. I just kind of swatched the white side right there. it just gives me that beautiful shimmery pop. I can choose between all 4 of the shades, or I can mix all 4 of the shades. There's another colorway in this that's called Dreamlight. That's more of like a medium peachy kind of tone. And so when I look at my collection, I see things like this and I'm like, you know what? I really don't need the Enlight Halo powder, so I'm gonna find another good home for this guy. So here's another example of what I mean about Colourpop. Why did I get all of these? These are the Colourpop color sticks. They're basically like stick eyeshadows. I've just swatched a couple here on my hand for you to see. You could use them as eyeliner, you could use them as shadow, but at the end of the day, I just didn't get along very well with these. And I also just don't use these types of products. I don't know why I keep buying these single eyeshadow things from Colourpop. I don't really reach for single shadows all that much, unless it's like the Tarte Chrome paints. And then I have a couple more from like Hourglass. I got that one from Victoria Beckham. I just really don't reach for these kinds of things unless it's more of a topper, like a topper that I'm gonna put to add a little bit of shine and color to a look that I created with a palette. But these, I also just don't feel like these are very good quality. I barely used these. I think the first one that I used, it was very, very hard to blend out, and it really kind of depends on what color you get. Comment down below and let me know if you guys have tried these. So yeah, I haven't really been using these, but what I have been using are these. These are the Victoria Beckham Satin Eye Kajals. I did a full review of these here on my channel, and I feel like this instead is what I've been gravitating towards, because these are just so creamy. They really glide on like butter, and this is what I would use as either an eyeliner or something to kind of smudge along the lash line, or even to create kind of like a shape that I would then blend out if I wanted to create something a little bit more graphic. I feel like this is the sophisticated grown-up version of those Colourpop color sticks, and these come in so many beautiful colors. My favorite colors are the olive and the bronze. I like those because they're just a little bit different, unique, and they look really nice when you smudge them out. These are not the longest lasting, but like I said, they're really good for kind of a soft, smudgy look, not something super defined, which is kind of what I thought I was gonna go for with these Colourpop color sticks, but unfortunately, they're going in the donation pile. You guys know I'm a huge Pat McGrath fan. I really love her products, especially her eyeshadow palettes. They're some of my favorite in my collection, and so I do consider myself a Pat McGrath collector. But at this point, I feel like there are some things that I have from Pat that I need to just start decluttering, things that I just haven't used, I don't reach for. Some of her palettes are better than others. So I did decide to get rid of one palette. Let me show you guys what this is. This is the Bronze Temptation palette that she launched a couple of years back as a part of her holiday collection. And the reason that I'm getting rid of this one is because these shadows, as you can see, they are very, very dark, maybe other than this one. So this is definitely more of a nighttime or a going out palette for me. In addition, some of the colors in this palette are just a little bit harder to work with, the red and the green together. I find that it's hard to create a look with both of those colors, and those are sort of the standout colors in this palette. Otherwise, it's a neutral palette of which I already have all of those colors from Pat McGrath. I want to show you right here, this is kind of like a beautiful duochrome. While it does look good swatched, I find that when this goes onto the eye, it looks a little bit weird. Like, it looks weird. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of that duochrome shift, but I find it very, very difficult to pair with this. Maybe I'm just not a good enough makeup artist, and you can see this green color. It has a bit of a black base in general, but at the end of the day, guys, no matter what, I just haven't been reaching for this palette, and for that, I think this will make somebody else very happy. I have friends that like these types of tones that I can give it away to. For me, if I'm not reaching for it, then I just don't need to have it collecting dust in my makeup vanity. I don't even have like a product here that is replacing this. It's basically just all of my other Pat McGrath palettes. I just don't really see the need in keeping this one, so this is the one that was on the chopping block. Once again, why did I buy these? These are the e.l.f. bite-size palettes, and I have these in the shades Pumpkin Pie, I've got Rose Water, and I have Cream and Sugar. And hear me out, guys. These are actually really good palettes for the money. I think these are only about $3 or $4, and I actually think that the quality is pretty good, especially the shimmers. Let me just kind of swatch This is Cream and Sugar. Beautiful. That's beautiful. These, like, hats off to you, Elle, for creating such a wonderful, affordable eyeshadow palette that you can get at the drugstore. It's super accessible. It's just, for me, it doesn't really make sense for me to be collecting these because I have so much eyeshadow in my collection. I really barely reach for these because I'm always reaching for my Tom Ford, my Dior, my Natasha Denona, my Pat McGrath. And so I feel like because I'm not reaching for these, I can find a better home for them. I think the shimmers in these are pretty good, but I have to admit, I don't think that the mattes are all that good. It swatches okay, but they are a little bit patchy on the eye. It just doesn't make sense for me to be collecting these. And what I usually reach for instead are my Natasha Denona mini palettes. I have almost every shade of her mini palette. And so it's kind of like, why do I need this Cream and Sugar when I have this mini nude? It just doesn't really make sense. And so I like going through this whole process to kind of remind myself, you really don't need that in the future, no matter how cheap it is. Don't pick it up, because like, you really remember when you decluttered it, Sophia? Remember when you decluttered the bite-sized palettes? It's best to not keep creating waste. Here's another eyeshadow palette that I'm getting rid of. This is the Huda Beauty Light Nude Obsessions palette. These are definitely Sophia colors. I really like the tones in this palette, but once again, guys, I already have other options in my collection that are better quality. I think that this palette, I'm not saying that it's bad quality. I actually quite like it. Again, like, I kept this around for a really long time. Even as I'm swatching it right now, I'm thinking, should I keep it around for another go? But I really need to let go of it. I already have the Huda Beauty Rose Quartz palette that has very similar tones, and I tend to like that palette better. I think the quality is better. I like that there's more fun shimmers and glitters, and the mattes are really great in that palette. Another thing that's kind of dethroning this palette are all of the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk products that I recently picked up. I recently picked up this larger palette. This is the Instant Eye palette in the shade Pillow Talk. Just swatch one of the shimmers there for you guys. You can see that the one from Charlotte Tilbury, it's just a lot smoother and more diffused than the rather glittery ones from Huda Beauty. Not saying, once again, I'm not saying that it's like vastly superior, but I do prefer this formula, and I do think that, especially as I'm getting older, I'm getting more fine lines, I feel like my eyes are getting more hooded by the day. I do feel like this smoother, more metallic, less glittery formula is a little bit better for my skin. In addition, I also have here the Pillow Talk Dreams palette that recently came out. I know that this one is like a little bit rosier and more deeper than the Huda Beauty Nude Obsessions, but you guys get what I'm saying. I already have these colors in my collection, and once upon a time, this was really exciting and fun for me to play with. I did use it, but unfortunately its time has come and it's being dethroned. And finally, the last product is probably one of the biggest disappointments in my collection. I've been holding on to this product for so long, just hoping that maybe one day it would work out for my skin. But unfortunately, every time I use this foundation, it looks awful on my skin. And you guys might be surprised to hear this, but this is the Surratt Dewdrop Foundation. This is definitely a Michelle Wong made me buy it. She always ranks this as her favorite foundation, or at least in like her top 2, top 3. And I typically have very similar tastes to her in terms of foundations and kind of like the finish that she's going for. So I was really excited to get this. I remember I got it on sale from like Bergdorf's or something like that. They had a crazy sale and I was like, I'm gonna get it. This is very expensive. I can't remember how much it is. I'll put it down in the description box down below, but this is extremely expensive. You don't really get that much product. I really wanted to give this a shot, but man, guys, like every time I use this, it just looks so awful and crusty on my skin. And you can see it looks super dewy and serum-y and nice, but for whatever reason, it just wears horribly on my skin. The other thing that I hate about this foundation is that in order to get it out, you have to press this little button on the bottom. And I feel like I'm just trying, begging for it to come out of the bottle. Like, it's just so hard. You do have to kind of pump it out. And as you can see right here, even so, it's like kind of hard to do it with my nail, but I'm like just barely getting a couple of drops out. It's very frustrating. And so I've kind of just come to grips with the fact that this isn't gonna work for me. I think maybe this might be good for some of my other family members. Again, a lot of people really like this foundation. So for whatever reason, it didn't work out for me, but I have faith that maybe it'll work out for somebody else. The foundation that I feel like is going to replace this is this one. This is the Suku, the liquid foundation. I did a review of this for you guys on my channel, and I feel like this is gonna give me somewhat similar vibes as the Suku Dewdrop Foundation, where it's kind of like a natural finish, maybe a little bit natural to matte. At least for me, the Dewdrop Foundation, it was more of a matte texture. I know that it's called Dewdrop, but I don't know, that's what it was like on my skin. But this one doesn't dry me out. It's a lot more long wearing. It lasts and it sets down much better. I think that the shade range is very similar. Here I have the shade 110. That's what I have in the cream foundation from Suku as well. And I've really been enjoying this. I think this is gonna be a really good summer foundation for me. But yeah, I have so many new foundations in my collection that it doesn't really make sense for me to be keeping this one from Suku, just kind of collecting dust and slowly expiring. So seeing as it's still good to use, I'm gonna see if I can find another home for it. All right, friends, those are all of the products that I'm talking about today. Honestly, I love a good declutter. I find that when I get rid of makeup that I'm not using, it really helps me realize what are the things that I gravitate towards? What are the things that I need to stop buying, stop wasting my money on? And honestly, having my makeup collection more organized, labeled, it makes it easier for me to use the products that I do have because they're easier to find, they're more organized, I can find the shades that I want. And what I have found over the past like 2 or so weeks since I've done this declutter is that I am using more of my makeup. I am able to kind of shop my stash a lot better. So comment down below, have you guys done a declutter lately? I would love to know if you've tried any of these products that I'm decluttering today. What are your thoughts? What are some things that have recently dethroned things that maybe you loved a little while ago? Sound off in the comments down below and let's get a discussion started. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, guys, if you enjoyed it. It definitely helps me out, and subscribe if you are new. And I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will see you in my next one. Goodbye.